Today I'm going to showcase the new operator Grim. Grim is a 3-speed 1 armor, and what he brings to the table is the Kawan Hive launcher. Grim's gadget is basically what happens when you combine Ash and Alibi. So when you shoot it at a wall, it does fall down and it creates a little area of effect that constantly spots enemies. Ubi does actually include a very good demonstration of the ability, so as you can see here, as soon as you get out of the distance of the hive, you get pinged 3 times, but while you're in it, you're constantly spotted. If you shoot the gadget at the ground, we can actually see the area of effect. So standing far away, you can see that there's actually a good like 6 feet radius of just straight area of effect. So that's a whole 12-foot diameter of just straight spotting. First up, you might be thinking, wow, this could be an Airjab, but no. So after you shoot it and it does fall down, you only have 8 seconds until it dissipates. One weakness that Grim does have is that you can't just spam the gadget. So you can't just flood an entire site in bees. To mention, you're also extremely vulnerable while you're shooting it. Grim's gadget only has 3 counters right now. Well, technically 4 and 5. Mute, if you shoot the launcher within the vicinity of a jammer, what's going to happen is that the hive doesn't deploy. My, just like every other gadget, is going to get caught in the magnet and then it's going to deploy right then and there. Jaeger, the ADS, is actually just going to absorb the actual projectile. Technically, impacts and nitros can counter Grim, but the thing is they can only counter it if you destroy the actual projectile. So before the hive actually comes out of the projectile, if you hit it with a nitro or an actual impact, it's going to destroy it. There's 3 different ways that you could use Grim. So I'm on border, for example. Let's say there's someone half wall. What you can do, you could just quick lean it, right? Let's say like the ADS already melted, or if you melt it yourself, then look, no one can sit over here. They're either gonna get constantly pinged or they're gonna run away. So that's how you flush people out. The second way you could do it is, let's say you plant over here in default, right? So if you plant anywhere that can be played vertically, what you can do is that you can actually shoot hives upwards. That way you'll always have a constant ping on whoever's on the diffuser. Third way I would use Grim is as a deterrent. So if I shoot Grim's gadget right over here, right, no one's gonna swing the server door, because once you get constantly pinged, you can easily get pre-fired. So this locks down this entire door, so I can just swing the rotate hole, I could swing bottom metal, right, and I don't get penalized for walking through my own gadget. In the reveal panel, they really wanted Grim to be an aggressive, up-in-your-face operator, and that's kind of why they removed the 1.5, because they really wanted you to play very close quarters with him, and I do like the idea. Unfortunately, on the test server, we can only play Stadium, so I can't really tell you how he does on the other maps, but in my opinion, Grim is going to be very strong, so he can melt any ADSs, magnets, the constant spawning is going to be annoying, especially with all the other buffs that attackers got this season. Specifically with the EMP impact, all 3 of Grim's direct counters are gone. As for Grim's loadout, the first gun you have is the 5.52 Commando. However, unlike IQ, you don't have a 1.5 scope. For his other primary, you do have the GIGN shotgun, and you do have the P229. As for his secondary gadgets, you have 3 breach charges and you have 2 claymores. For my setup, I'm currently running the Commando, I'm using the hollow B sight, the suppressor, and the vertical grip. You might be asking why I'm running suppressor. It's because next season they removed the actual damage drop off that you would get if you run a suppressor. Here's an example of the setup in an actual match. To answer the question, is Grim actually a viable operator? First, I'm going to rate the weapon. So the Commando is actually tied with both the Capitale's primaries in terms of actual damage. So if you go into a shooting range, realize that if you're a 2 armor, you're going to get 3 shotted. So 1, 2, 3. 2 armors are 110 HP, and then a 4th shot is going to kill a 3 armor. In terms of actual shooting power, I do rate Grim at 8.5, so you do shoot faster than the L85, and the L85 is probably the most laser gun in the game. You have 10 more bullets than the ARX, but you don't have a 1.5, and the 1.5 is the strongest sight in the game. Not to mention this gun is actually still a laser, so I don't think you're going to miss a single shot with this gun. In terms of Grim's gadget, I actually do give Grim's gadget a 6. So the only reason why I don't like Grim's gadget is because you have to face check everything. So when it comes to flushing people out of spots, using it in top ranked isn't really going to be that effective. Just throw a nade, right? Then you can hear the audio of where they're moving, right? You do a cycling. But if you're actually trying to flush someone out, right? They know where you're sitting at, right? You're probably going to get pre-fired. Actual ops that you can pair with Grim, I think Lion would be the strongest one, at least ability wise. The way I see it is that if you shoot Grim's gadget, right, and then you call for a scan, anyone in that area of effect is going to get spotted, right, and anyone who has to move away is also going to get spotted, so they're going to have to deal with being spotted no matter what. In terms of comp play, I don't think anyone is going to actually play Grim. The entry operators, I do think that Grim gets outclassed by Twitch every possible way. So what Twitch has, she has 2 smokes, claymores, she has the F2, and she also has 3 whole drones. Also, most of the community prefers to use the 1.5 whenever it's available. While you do have all of these very nice reticles, you are very limited in the possible engagements that you can go into. With all that being said, what do I think of Grim? I don't believe that Grim's going to be the next entry operator. So in terms of entries that don't have a 1.5, really all there is right now is Ash. And there's not much that would make me choose Grim over Ash. Ash is one of my comfort picks in my opinion. I'm very comfortable on using a 1x, right? But I don't think I would be able to use Grim's ability to the fullest extent. I don't like having my gadget out in the middle of gunfights. I don't have the fire rate to kind of like catch a headshot very quickly because most of my kills are headshots. Of course, most of that is just based on speculation because I wouldn't really know until I'm actually in a real rank game with the Grim, with the stack. I wouldn't be able to experience it until next season. One map I do see Grim being used a lot is going to be Coastline. So there's a lot of choke points in Coastline, and I think you can kind of push people back with that gadget. But that's because it's a very entry-based map. There's a lot of places on every map that you can find it useful. So there's Oregon Pillar, there's Villa Vault. I think most maps just have that spot where people like to hunker down at, and then they're not going to feel safe when they're constantly being spotted. You can also use it just to prevent people from swinging a door. And we're gonna have to wait until next season to see. So next season there's gonna be a lot of innovation. A lot of people are gonna come up with ways to use the operator in ways that we haven't thought of in a test server. But we'll just have to see. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys learned everything that you needed to know about Grim, and I hope you guys are as excited for next season as I am.